there's a serious lack of direction and lack of relevant information to the society out there. As the presenter rightfully stated, this is not about scoring political points. Our people need to be guided. For example, this evening we had a very important and instructive question being asked by a young member of the audience when he asked what advice could be given to the layman. Because this is what people would need. Right? How do I make the adjustment? What type of adjustment should I make as a housewife? What type of adjustment should I make as a public servant? What type of adjustment should I make as a small business man or woman in terms of managing my home affairs, managing my little business? Right? These are some of the things that will be troubling the minds of our people out there. How do I cope with the less income that I may be getting? Some who may not be getting at all. How do I cope? And what I would like to say at this point is relevant to that. Our women's arm of NJAC has been given a mandate to prepare that kind of information and strategies that they could share with the wider population, particularly our women who are responsible for managing our households, to be able to provide our families, our households, with just that advice, with some of those guidelines. For example, one of the things I know that they have come up with and which they are tweaking in terms of sharing that information is the concept of bulk buying, right? In that, we need to realize that we have to move from a life of competition that exists to one of cooperation. We have grown very accustomed, because of the influence by the West, right, and living in an economy that has been very buoyant, to a life where we were competing with each other because it was a case of status. What would give me a status in my community is the size of my television screen as compared to yours. So my effort would be to go out and buy the biggest television screen that I can boast about. What was important is in terms of the make or the size of my car, because it gives me that status in the community. What was important was in terms of the brand of the clothes that I would wear, right? In that it didn't matter in terms of what is the brand was important, but it gives me that status in the community. Even the food that I was able to go and buy, once it is foreign, right? It means to say I could reflect that I'm living the highest quality of life in the community because it is foreign, so that our whole orientation became foreign-based. And these are the kind of adjustments that we will need to make, which means one of the greatest challenges that any leadership will have in this society in coping with this situation is the question of adjustment of taste patterns of our people. It's a question of culture. How do we get our people to adjust their states, their taste patterns? That is an issue of culture. How do we get our people to make that cultural change? When all of these things have become so internalized within us, part of our being in terms of attraction to what is foreign. And therefore, I again would appeal to our women's arm to continue their work there, not trying to hustle you, but at the same time, I would appeal that the question of time is of the essence, and our families out there are in critical need of that information. So again, we hope to very soon to have our Women's Arm leading their own campaign, their own program, in terms of sharing that information with our families, which is very critical. I hear some of us make the statement that we have been here before, but we have to be very careful in making that statement. In that, on the surface, yes, we have been here before. When you look on the surface in terms of the price of oil dropping and how it impacts. But there are fundamental factors that make it very different. Fundamental factors. Because at one time, even though that took place, however, the situation internationally where oil is concerned as a major source of energy was not the same. So that you could have seen on the horizon, you could have had international situations that could have affected the price to create that increase. Right? So that brought a different situation, a situation of relief for us. And I say, why we have to be careful in making that statement? You do not want to send a distorted signal to the person out there who will feel, we have been here before, and therefore, the time will come in a year or two when it will change just like it did before. So we have to be very careful in the signals that we send, right? Because it is a completely different situation, and there are very fundamental differences that will bring very new challenges. So it makes it a very new situation because of those challenges that will come.